Captain Marcus Chen paused mid-bite of his protein ration as the small, blue-scaled creature burst through the cantina doors of Station Kepler 7. The being couldn't have been more than 4 feet tall, with large amber eyes that glistened with tears. Its delicate fins trembled as it scanned the room desperately. "Please!" the creature cried out in accented standard. "Is there a human here? I need a human!" The cantina fell silent. A few Vorthon merchants shifted uncomfortably in their seats, while a group of crystalline traders clinked nervously. All eyes turned toward Marcus, the only human present. The small being's gaze locked onto him, and it rushed forward, dropping to its knees before his table. "Please, mighty human, the Iron Nomads took my mother. You're my last hope. Save her!" Marcus set down his ration carefully. He'd heard the stories that circulated through the outer systems, wild tales of human warriors performing impossible feats, of their species' legendary stubbornness and refusal to accept defeat. Most of it was exaggerated nonsense, but it seemed this young alien believed every word. "What's your name, kid?" Marcus asked gently. "Kaya of the Tidecaller clan," the creature replied, wiping its eyes with webbed fingers. "My mother is Healer Naya. 3 cycles ago, the Iron Nomads raided our settlement on Aquatica Prime. They took the healers, the engineers, the teachers, anyone with valuable knowledge." Marcus had heard of the Iron Nomads, a brutal pirate confederation that swept through the Outer Rim, enslaving skilled individuals to maintain their massive fleet. They were considered unstoppable by most civilized worlds, and you came looking for a human because humans never give up. Kaya's voice cracked with desperate hope. "The stories say humans once fought a war against impossible odds and won. That they never leave their people behind. That a single human warrior can overcome entire armies through pure determination." The other patrons exchanged glances. Marcus almost smiled at the mythology his species had somehow acquired. The truth was simpler. Humans were just too stubborn to know when they were beaten. "Where did they take her?" Marcus asked. Kaya's eyes widened. "You'll help? Truly?" "I didn't say that yet." "Where are they?" "The Bone Nebula. They have a fortress built inside a dead star. It's impossible to reach. The gravitational fields would crush any ship that tried to approach." "Impossible, huh?" Marcus rubbed his chin thoughtfully. His ship, the Persistence, was built for salvage operations in dangerous environments. If anyone could navigate those fields... He looked at Kaya's tear-streaked face and felt something familiar stir in his chest, that particular human inability to walk away from someone in need, even when logic dictated otherwise. "All right, kid. I'll need detailed scans of the area, information about their defenses, and..." Marcus paused. "What can you pay?" Kaya's face fell. I have nothing. My people are simple tide farmers, but I swear by the deep currents I will find a way to..." "Repay you!" Marcus stood up, downing the last of his synth coffee. "Come on then." "You means I'm apparently living up to the reputation your people gave my species." He headed toward the door. "Fair warning, though, I'm not some mythical warrior. I'm just a stubborn human who doesn't like bullies." 3 days later, the Persistence drifted through the chaotic gravitational fields of the Bone Nebula like a leaf in a hurricane. Marcus had been making micro-adjustments for hours, using his ship's adaptive systems to surf the gravitational waves rather than fight them. "Impossible," whispered Kaya from the co-pilot's seat. "The other races said it couldn't be done." "That's because they were thinking like sensible beings," Marcus replied, sweat beading his forehead as he made another split-second correction. "Humans gave up on sensible a long time ago." The Iron Nomad fortress came into view, a massive construct built into the hollowed-out remains of a collapsed star. Ships swarmed around it like angry insects. "Scanning for life signs," Marcus announced. His sensors detected hundreds of captives in the lower levels. Got them. Now comes the fun part. How do we get past their defenses? Kaya asked. Marcus smiled grimly. We don't go around them. We go through them. The persistence accelerated, directly toward the fortress. Nomad fighters scrambled to intercept, but Marcus had already calculated their response patterns. He wove between them, using the gravitational chaos to his advantage, making the enemy pilots work against the environment rather than with it. Klaxons blared as he drove straight for what appeared to be solid metal. At the last second, he fired, a concentrated burst at a structural weak point he'd identified. The hull buckled, creating just enough space for the persistence to slip through. They crashed into the fortress's docking bay in a shower of sparks and screaming metal. Still alive? Marcus asked Kaya, who was staring at him with something approaching religious awe. You actually did it. Haven't saved anyone yet. Marcus grabbed his pulse rifle and headed for the airlock. Stay close and try not to get killed. What followed was pure human stubbornness made manifest. Marcus fought through the fortress corridors with grim determination, refusing to be stopped by superior numbers or firepower. When his rifle ran out of charge, he used salvaged weapons. When those failed, he improvised with whatever he could find. He didn't fight like a legendary warrior from the stories. He fought like what he was, a human who had decided that something needed doing and was too pig-headed to quit until it was done. 2 hours later, Marcus led a group of freed captives back to his ship, including a blue-scaled female who had to be Kaya's mother. The young alien wept with joy as she embraced Naya. As they prepared for departure, Kaya approached Marcus. The stories were wrong about humans, she said quietly. Yeah? How so? They said humans were mighty warriors who never lost. But that's not what makes you special. Kaya looked up at him with new understanding. You're just people who refuse to let others suffer when you can do something about it, even when it's impossible. Marcus started the launch sequence, already calculating their escape route through the gravitational maze. Kid, he said with a slight smile, sometimes impossible just means nobody's been stubborn enough to try yet. The persistence lifted off, into the chaotic beauty of the Bone Nebula, carrying its rescued passengers toward freedom. Behind them, the Iron Nomad fortress burned, not conquered by a legendary hero, but simply by a human who couldn't walk away from someone who needed help. In the cantinas of 100 worlds, they would add another story to the growing legend of humanity. But Marcus knew the truth was simpler and perhaps more remarkable. Sometimes the greatest victories came not from being mighty, but from refusing to give up on what mattered.